Welcome to this week's edition of Project 316. I'm your Minister of Metal, Stephen Taylor. We're going to go ahead and kick off this message this week. It's pretty much about raising our children, teaching our children in the ways of the Lord. Now, I'm going to kick it off with this scripture from Proverbs 22:6. Train a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it. Now, reading from this scripture, I can tell you, ever since I watched the movie Courageous, if you haven't seen that movie, you should go watch it, especially if you have a family. If you ever think about having a family, you should watch that. I felt that I had a need and a responsibility to start teaching Bible to my family, and that included my wife and my two children. I'm the one that's held accountable when it comes to how my children act. I'm the one that's accountable to God, to how my children act. It's my responsibility to teach them in the ways of the Lord. I can't expect the church to teach them, and I really can't expect the school to teach them because they won't even teach Christianity. A lot of them don't even let the Bible in the school system. But that's our job. That's our responsibility as men to teach our families. Now, God put us in charge. Now, I don't want you getting a big head thinking, you know what I says goes. No. We're still accountable before God. And He's going to hold us to that, how we teach our family and how we raised our families. And the thing that we need to concentrate on is our children. Now, you can have both sons and daughters, or just a daughter and just a son. We need to be vigilant for them. Now, I'm going to talk about our boys, our young men. Now, in our world today, we've got drugs, we've got violence, and we've got music and media that promote these things. Now, if we decide to just focus on our careers, on our hobbies, and let our children, let the media and music parent them, we're going to be in for some pain. I've seen it. I know it. Because that's how they're going to be raised. You know, when you've got heroes like Eminem, Lil Wayne, guys like that. For one, Eminem, he's known for his bad temper. Lil Wayne, he's known for his treatment towards women. He's pretty much out there when it comes to the drugs that he does. Regardless if he has fear of God on his eyelids or not, apparently he doesn't fear God because he sure doesn't act like a man of God. You know, we're letting our boys emulate these people. And that's how they're going to raise up to be, thinking it's okay to treat women like trash, to use them as sexual tools, you know, get them drunk and let us have our way with them. That's how the world, the media, and the music, that's how they teach our young men. That's how they teach them that it's okay. But like I said, we need to be men of our families, and we need to teach them the true nature of God. Now in society, it's cool to be walking around all huge muscled and big, like I could take you down, I could beat you down, don't mess with me. That's not strength, that's weakness. And we need to teach our young men that is weakness. And we need to teach them that there's no weakness in meekness. We need to teach them to love women. Love them right, not use them as tools. Uplift them, put it on a pedestal. Jesus encourages men to do the same thing. So in order to teach them, you need to do that with your wife, their mother. You need to show them how to love a woman by loving and taking care of your wife. And they're going to pick up on that. Then they're going to forsake all that stuff out in the media, out in the music world, out in the world. They're going to forsake all that. Because children, they soak everything in. That's how they learn right from wrong, is what they see. And when they get older, it's hard to change your ways. I'm not saying it's not possible, because I did. Now, men, since you're responsible for your families, we're going to talk about your daughters. You know, and this really saddens me in the church world that sometimes when I walk in my own church, I have to look up in the air because of how we're letting our daughters dress. This is a holy place, people. You know, regardless if you don't go to my church, these are your daughters. And when you let your daughters dress like that, you're teaching them that it's okay to dress like that because men are going to love them because of that. You're not showing them real love. You're pretty much letting them be easy, to be targets. That's what I considered them when I was young, to be targets. You know, there's a saying, when you dress like a ghoul, the only thing that you're going to attract is ghosts. You know, you want your girls to be attractive for a self-respecting man. You want your little girls to be attractive for a man that's going to take care of them, not a man to use them as a sexual tool. You don't want the consequences of the actions of the world, what the world can do. There's a lot of sick people out there. There's a lot of pedophiles out there. And when they look at that, it's easy pickings. A couple days ago at work, it was a gentleman I work with. I don't know him too well, but he was wearing a pin on him. Had a picture of his daughter. She was cheerleading. And I looked at that outfit that his daughter was wearing. She was 5 years old. I mean, it really came up to right here, barely under her breastplate line. And the rest was just skin. And the skirt was as short as it can be. And I confronted him. I can't be shy about these things. You know, I asked him, I was like, I don't mean to offend you, but how in the world can you let your daughter dress like that? And the thing that shocked me is because he did not want to be, he wanted to give her anything that she wants. He wants his daughter to be happy, which I want my daughter to be happy. I want my son to be happy. But not at the expense of their salvation and my own and their safety. You know, there's a lot of pedophiles that will go to these little cheerleading events, these beauty pageants. That's how they pick out their targets. And you mean to tell me that you let your daughters go out there and dress like that because you're afraid of some confrontation, that you don't want your daughters to hate you? Let me ask you something. Which is the bigger consequence? Your daughter arguing with you or something bad happening to your daughter? Now, this is blunt, but it's the truth. You know, somebody could have dumped your daughter, kidnapped them, sell them in the sex trafficking world, rape them, kill them. Do you really want to go through that pain? Teach your daughters to be modest. She don't dress like a ghoul. She won't attract no ghosts. Teach your daughter to have self-respect for herself. That she doesn't have to dress like that for men to appreciate her and like her. There's men out there that love a modest woman. I do. I have lots of respect for a modest woman. Now, when we talk about the media and the music, I was watching this week on TV a commercial, Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. And I saw the host was Katy Perry. Now, this is what kind of shakes me up in two aspects. Mind you, Katy Perry came from a Christian background. Father's a minister. Now, I've seen a lot of, music videos of she's being practically naked. You know, that's not becoming of a Christian girl or Christian daughter. You know, I can't say, I don't know what went wrong in that relationship, and I can't go on about that. But the only question, what happened? And my other question is, why would somebody that pretty much dresses in scantily clad clothes or performs almost naked, why would they be chosen to lead children? Why would they be chosen to be role models? Why would you as parents let your children watch that or listen to that? They're being your children's role models. They're being your children's parents. Now, a lot of times, they live their life the simple way that they do, but it's our children that suffer the consequences. It's our daughters that get pregnant, or our sons that get girls pregnant. We look at people like Lady Gaga and Katy Perry and Beyonce, and we see the lifestyles they live. Nothing happens to them. They don't have any sexually transmitted diseases. They're not getting pregnant, not unless they want to get pregnant. I can go ahead and do these same things too. Because we got to cut that out of our family's time. We got to cut that out of our life. You know, there's good music out there and there's good TV out there that's not worldly. And that's what we need to focus our children on. We need to raise them as such. Because we're going to have to answer for that. Now, we may think, we're doing the best that we can. That's okay with God because we got ministries. We got churches to pastor. We've got these things to do in the church. Now, this is one thing that disturbed me. I'll say this. There was somebody I know that has a prominent leadership in the church. And I was working with one of their children. This was around the time when I first got saved. And I was curious, how do you guys do Bible? How do you guys study? And the answer I got was, we don't. We come to church. Dad does his thing. Mom does his thing. We all do our own thing. And it kind of blew me away that this was a leader. Before we can be leaders, we need to be leaders of our home. We're not leaders of our home. We are not worthy and should not go out and be leaders of a church. It's a no-no. We need to think about that. We are accountable. Now, let me tell you about a story that shows how God holds you accountable. Now, there was a prophet, or judge, I should say, of the Bible. If you're not familiar with the book of Samuel, Samuel was a little kid that was pretty much given to God by his mother. His mother could not have children. She was made fun of by other women, bullied by other women because of the fact that she was barren. Now, Rebecca made a covenant with God. If you allow me to be pregnant, I will give my firstborn to you. And what she did is when Samuel, her first son, was old enough and weaned from her, she took him to the tabernacle and gave her son to Eli, the judge of Israel. And Eli had two sons that ran amok around Israel. They stole. They took advantage of women. They did everything under the sun. Probably every sin that you could think about. And this is how God held Eli accountable. Now, one night, Samuel was hearing somebody calling him. He thought it was Eli. He went to Eli. He said, "Hey, did you call me? What do you want?" It's like, "I didn't call you. Go back to bed." It's happened 3 times. So Eli realized Samuel was being called by God. And Eli told Samuel to go back to his room, and when he hears the voice again, say, "Speak. I'm listening." And this is what was spoken. And the Lord said to Samuel, "See, I am about to do something in Israel that will make the ears of everyone who hears of it tingle. At that time, I will carry out against Eli everything I spoke against his family from beginning to end. For I told him I will judge his family forever because of the sin that he knew about." He knew what his sons were doing. It's one thing if you're training your children in the ways of the Lord and you don't know what they're doing. You can't correct anything that you don't know. But what holds you accountable is the fact that you know about it and refuse to either you turn away from it, turn an ear from it, or just don't do anything because you're afraid of confrontation. You will be accountable for it, and you will be dealt with. His sons made themselves contemptible, and he failed to restrain them. Therefore I swore to the house of Eli, the guilt of Eli's house will never be atoned for by sacrifice or offering. Samuel lay down until the morning and then opened the doors of the house of the Lord. He was afraid to tell Eli the vision. Now, I couldn't even dream of putting myself in Samuel's shoes. In fact, come to think about it, I was in Samuel's shoes. I had something God told me, something I should have said to somebody. I actually did say it. Nobody listened. And there was consequences that happened. One that could have took a life. Because nobody listened. God told Samuel something, and Samuel was afraid. This was pretty epic. You're about to tell your teacher, your mentor, your leader, that he's about to be punished. You're a kid. Imagine doing something like that. But Eli said to him, "What was it that he said to you?" Eli asked. "Do not hide it from me. May God deal with you, be it ever so severely, if you hide from me anything he told you." So Samuel told him everything, hiding nothing from him. Then Eli, he must have been devastated, said, "He is the Lord. Let him do what is good in his eyes." This is from 1 Samuel 3:11 through 18. Eli knew at this point he jacked up. And there was nothing he could do to change it. And unfortunately, guys out there, we think it's going to get easier when it comes to raising our kids. You know, we think, oh, if they come up and they're grown up, they're going to understand that, you know, this is not right, this is wrong, because you're afraid of confrontation. They'll be afraid of confrontation. Like I said before, seek God. Seek him for counsel. Because if you decide that you're going to get into a leadership position or in a ministry, you're asking for trouble. If you ain't got your family right, you're asking for trouble. Eli was a judge of all of Israel. He punished people. He's put people to death. He's put people in jail. But all of a sudden, his sons are being disobedient, and he doesn't do one thing. We sometimes think that our children are going to change, or we decide that we're going to ignore what's going on, that it will just work itself out. Trust me, people, it don't work itself out. It gets worse. I know it gets worse, so I've had to deal with it. I want you to think about that, and I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to be the man of your house. I'm going to challenge you to start reading the Bible to your family. Try it. You know, it started, you know, when I started with my family, I was the one that was reading. I got my daughter for her 9th birthday a Bible. Now she reads. She loves to read. I can't even read the Bible anymore, you know, when we have Bible groups, because of the fact that she wants to read every night. My son, who's 4 years old, he can barely read. He even reads. He loves it. He enjoys it. I tell you the truth, people. If you teach your family with love and respect and with justice, your family will follow you. Your children will follow you. I have 100% confidence that my children will grow up to be godly men and women, or a man and a woman. I can guarantee you that, because I am doing what the Lord commanded me to do. Train up the child in the way that he should go, and they will not forget about it when they are older. It's hard, people. I know it's hard, especially when you're facing the things of the world. You know, my daughter has a friend who, you know, has cell phones. They listen to worldly music. You know, my daughter already hears cuss words, and she's in elementary school from other kids. Because I'm training her in the way that she should go, she's hanging in there. She's not conforming to it, and neither will my son. You got to do that, people, because it's going to be pain. I don't want you to get to the point where you see your children going through pain because they have a drug addiction, they have a sexual addiction, or they've got mental issues. They can't handle money right. They can't treat people right. They're violent offenders. They're sexual offenders. That's pain to watch your child go through those things. And if you're watching this, and if you're a person that takes advantage of women, that likes to get women by any means necessary, think about how their parents are going, what they're going through. That's somebody's daughter. That's a father's daughter. That's a mother's daughter. If you do drugs or deal drugs and you're dealing that to somebody's daughter or son, think about that. You're causing pain. If you're watching this and you've been a sex offender, think about that. That's somebody's child. You're somebody's child. I don't want to see you guys go through this type of pain. I know what it feels like. And I could say, unfortunately, my wife still deals with it. She's got to the point where she's making a stand when it comes to the kids that she has, another marriage. She's realizing that she's going to be responsible for what she does with her children. She's responsible. Nobody else is. Her is. She is. I want you to pray about that. I want you to think about that. Like I said, I challenge you guys to do better. I challenge you fathers out there to be protectors and daddies to your daughters. They're your little girls. Daddies, fathers, I want you to teach your men how to love women. And that it's not weakness to be meekness. Mothers, I want you to love your children. Show them what love is. That's the only way that kids are going to learn what love is if you show them. Be together as one, mothers and fathers. Be together as one. And nothing will bring you down, and nothing will conquer you. And you and your family will have a peaceful life together. I'm not saying there's going to be battles. There's going to be battles. But you will get through them together, and you'll live happy. You know? These things go on our school systems. Be involved with your school system. Be involved. That is the only way that we're going to make change out there, people, if we be involved, if we get involved. That's how prayer in school and Christianity in school got abolished, because atheists, militant atheists, got involved. They pulled together. It's our turn, people. These are our children. We've got to make a better tomorrow for them before the Lord comes. They're going to be judged, and we're going to be judged. And I'll tell you what, when I get to the pearly gates, I want my whole family there. And that's why I'm going to do what I have to do. That's going to wrap it up for Project 316. Prayer request, the only one I got is for me and my wife. We're both smokers, well, no longer smokers. We quit smoking. I've smoked since I was 15. And it's pretty difficult, and I need prayer, and I need support. My wife does too. My wife, she needs prayer in other areas. There's some things she's hurting in, and pray for her, cross marriage. That's what we do best. We lift people up. Now we're going to kick it off with some praise and worship, and close this week's Project 316. Next week's going to be Easter special, of course, because it's Easter. And we're going to talk about, even though I've touched base with it on before, but we're going to talk about what he went through for us, and how people changed their mind about him in one day. How they loved him and then hated him, saying crucify him. Now we're going to kick it off with POD with their song Youth of a Nation. And after that, I got a band that I found out about a couple weeks ago on TVU's Battery. Saw their music video. The band is called Onward to Olympus. Pretty hardcore band. Now I want to let you know that it's not a lyric video, but they do have lyrics in their video that they made. So I want you guys to have a blessed week. Keep your prayers for everybody I've asked you to pray for. And don't forget, people, be blessed. Bring it to the cross.
Goodbye. I didn't tell her that I loved her, how much I cared. I thank my pops for all the talks and all the wisdom he shared. Unaware, I just did what I always do. Every day the same routine before I skate off to school. But who knew that this day wasn't like the rest? Instead of taking the test, I took 2 to the chest. Call me blind, but I didn't see it coming. Everybody was running, but I couldn't hear nothing except gun blast. It happened so fast, I didn't really know this kid, though I survived in class. Maybe this kid was reaching out for love, or maybe for a moment he forgot who he was. Or maybe this kid just wanted to be hugged. Whatever it was, I know it's because we are tragedies claim. No matter what you say, it don't take away the pain that I feel inside. I'm tired of all the lies, though nobody know why. It's the blind leading the blind. Guess that's the way that the story goes. Will it ever make sense? Somebody's gotta know. There's gotta be more to life than this. There's gotta be more to everything I thought exists.
We are the youth of the nation. We are youth of the nation. We are the youth of the nation. We are youth of the nation. We are youth of the nation. We are
Where I know you to step back.